Rock Your Midlife, Dr. Ellen, and she's here with us. She's psychologist, registered dietitian, nutritionist, national board certified health and wellness coach. Welcome to my show, Ellen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share tonight.
Yes. So be with us till the end. See what we have as freebies and a lot of great information to digest.
Live here on Instagram talking about my book with Pantea.
Yeah, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show, Authors Promotion Show. All right,
It's
Ellen.
good to be here.
Yeah. Okay, Ellen. First of all, congratulations for your book. I read it through and I love it, love it. And I love your bio about what you achieved so far, and I can't wait to start our interview today.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is my first interview with the book. I did a TV interview yesterday about families and the holidays, but it's sort of the first time I'm coming out talking about my book. So thanks for having me on.
Beautiful. As you see, that's her book on the top, and that's about midlife, right?
Correct.
So tell me about it. First of all, tell me about yourself. I know you had lots of challenges in your midlife, and you were a famous person in TV and everywhere talking about your old books, right? You about the cooking, right?
Yes, my
Yes.
ex-husband and I were the cooking couple. So we were celebrity chefs in the 90s and we wrote books about food and romance. So we wrote 3 books together. We did a ton of TV. We had a radio show for 5 years, did a lot of product endorsements. It was a lot of fun. But then, the world came out in Viagra and nobody needed aphrodisiacs anymore. And the marriage went south. It took a while, and we raised our kids and decided that I wanted to be on a different path. So it took me, kind of about 4 years to kind of pull my life together. So I think, midlife is this time where you're kind of like the caterpillar to the butterfly. You're like in this chrysalis, and it could be, I don't know how it was for you. I would be curious, where you're at with midlife. But for me, it was definitely a time where divorce, health crisis, empty nest, all of these things, which really give you a little bit of a pause, and you start to reevaluate your life, and you decide, okay, I've got this whole second adulthood. I don't have as much time in front of me probably than behind me. What am I going to do with the rest of the incredible decades ahead? And that's kind of where I was at. And also, I've been working with so many women. I've worked with hundreds of women at Midlife. I'm the Midlife Whisperer. So that's kind of what I do. And just seeing people transform and feeling like, gosh, I'm not transforming. Like, why am I still being the caterpillar when I'm all set and want to be the butterfly?
Exactly. That's not only about the emotional state. You have a lot of challenges with menopause and other hormonal change in your body. That's why you feel that you rock the bottom. So what do we have to do whenever we hit the midlife? And then I know a little bit, we are a little bit confused because we will have a lot of challenges. And what do you recommend? What did you do when you were in that point?
Well, I follow the 7 steps in my book, Rock Your Midlife, essentially. So the first step, well, before you get to the 7 steps, which I can detail, the first thing you have to do is you've got to get unstuck. And I think that at midlife, it's really easy to get stuck because we're comfortably uncomfortable. We may be staying in a relationship because we're scared, I'm going to meet somebody else, or this is what I know. Perhaps we're in a dead-end job that we don't like, or even we're, in bodies that we haven't taken good care of, but it's scary to go to the gym, change our diets. Change is scary. Our brains are designed to keep us safe, not to help us. I know you've worked with trauma, so like the brain is there. We develop these ways of being, and even I was, experienced trauma in my life to protect ourselves. And so there's this big barrier to even getting started. So the first thing is you've got to get unstuck. So then after you get unstuck, the first step, you can.
Sorry, how can we get unstuck? That's the first question.
Yeah, well, the first thing with, getting unstuck is you kind of just have to take the blindfolders off. So we kind of just duck and cover. We just stay safe and we stay small. And we have to take a look at our situation. We have to take the blindfolders on. That's the first thing, is just take a look at where you are at and realize that you do have choices. You don't have to stay in a relationship that's not working. You don't have to stay in a job that's not working. You don't have to stay in a body that's not healthy. You are able to make changes in your life. So that's the first thing, is take that blindfold off. And then, make some choices. I mean, doing nothing, staying stuck is actually a choice. And so you can start a choice no matter how small. So for example, if you're thinking, gee, I really need to get in shape. I've COVID has happened and I put on some weight and I haven't exercised. So you start a walking program. Or if you're in a relationship that's not working, maybe you think about, what could I do to make that relationship better? Or maybe I need to prototype what it looks like to leave. But you have to do something, and even doing something in a different area of your life, changing your hair color, wearing a different color, driving to work in a new way, getting your coffee at a new coffee shop, reading a different newspaper or book. You've got to shake your life up, because if we keep repeating the same old things, then the same life is going to keep showing up for us, and we're not going to be able to make our next chapter amazing.
You said there are 7 steps. Okay, can you go through them step by step? You said the first one, you just have to unfold your current situation and see where you are at, and then accept the changes, as I understand, of your steps. What are the rest?
Yeah, so and you're facing your fears. So that's actually the preliminary thing. And then we get to the 7 steps. You got to get unstuck, face your fears, decide to take action, set an intention. So the first step is authenticity. That step is really getting to know yourself. So you can't create an amazing next chapter if you don't know yourself. If you're wearing a mask, if you are kind of clawing up the ladder of success, but it's against the wrong building because it's not authentic, it's not what you truly love, then you're not going to make your next chapter wonderful. So this chapter is really all about thinking about your childhood. What did you like to do as a kid? And what are you naturally great at? I give people lots of journaling exercises, and as well as various types of psychological instruments that they can take to discover what's unique and fabulous about you, because you've got to know yourself on the deepest level to have an amazing next chapter. So that's the first step. The next step is loving yourself. And this is really, for me, the thing that changed everything. I was fortunate enough to have Kristen Neff on my dissertation committee, and she is kind of the pioneer in this area called self-compassion. And Kristen actually required me to learn self-compassion. So I started practicing, essentially treating myself like a good friend. And that was just totally changed my energy, changed the way I treated myself. I essentially stopped doing things that insulted my soul and started creating a life that I loved because I cared about myself. So I improved my relationship with myself by learning to love myself. And I give people in this chapter really practical things. Again, people are like, how do you love yourself? Where do you start, right? And this is really all about this area called self-compassion. So that's the second step. And ready for the third?
Sure, I am. Go ahead.
Okay. The third is energizing yourself. So this is where I take my background as a registered dietitian, as a board certified health and wellness coach. I've been a personal fitness trainer, and I've always taken really good care of my body. And so it's really important to have energy. If you're fatigued, if you're tired, if you're experiencing a lot of menopausal symptoms, it's really hard to enjoy your next chapter if you don't feel good, if you don't have energy. Of course, you want to prevent all the chronic diseases. So this is a really meaty chapter that's going to give you everything you need to know about diet, about exercise, lots of tips around menopause, things around sleep, rest, stress reduction, just to help you to really feel really good so that you can really move into your next chapter having a lot of energy and living a long life. So the fourth step is reprogramming your brain. And so this step is all about what is called neuroplasticity. So this is where you're able to change actually your brain. You're able to grow new neural pathways. I'm sure you know about this from your trauma work, that we can kind of extinguish neural pathways that aren't serving us, like things that are bring us down, negativity, and also expanding those neural pathways, growing those neural pathways, which are going to make us happier, bring us more meaning, more purpose, more focus in our lives. So this chapter is really all about things that you can do to change the structure of your brain so that you are more positive. And then the fifth, and I'm still working on the fifth, that is empowerment. So going from bottomed out to lifted up, really discovering how do I empower myself from within. So often we are looking from outside of ourselves, looking to other people, things to make us feel good, to make us feel powerful. But this is about tapping within and really connecting with the step one, that authenticity, and then also starting to attract what is truly in your highest good in your life. And I explain this process called finding your destination vibration, which is something that I did when COVID first started and we were in lockdown. I started using some very powerful visualization techniques to actually kind of both imagine the life that I wanted through my thoughts, but also magnetize what I wanted through my emotions. So I talk all about the law of attraction, all about empowerment, how to be more courageous, how to really listen to your heart. The sixth step is rehab your relationships. And if you're listening, I'm wondering if people are looking forward to Thanksgiving, right? We're going to be with our families and we've all changed so much. So I encourage you, get the book. This chapter alone is worth the price of admission. It's on Amazon. It's only 99 cents. And it's really powerful because what happens is when you become that butterfly, when you become empowered, when you know yourself, you love yourself, you start taking care of yourself physically, you start to change. But the people in your life still think that you are that caterpillar. And you're like, no, I'm a butterfly. Can you see I've got like wings and I'm eating nectar and my life is awesome. But they still think that you're the caterpillar. So in this chapter, it's really all about how to rehab your relationships. And there's a threefold process. So that's about letting that good girl go. So letting that people pleaser that always wants, I was one of those. Anybody identify with that, right? People
I like that.
pleaser.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Were you a people pleaser as well?
Yeah, I try to look at myself as well. Like sometimes you have to sacrifice your time and energy to satisfy others, but then you look at yourself, you see if you do this, sometimes you really hurt yourself as well. So you have to make a balance and look at yourself first, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's so important. When I'm working with so many of my clients are recovering people pleasers where they're actually making their decisions because they're conflict adverse and they want to please other people. They want to be the good girl. And with that, it's not our fault. We are taught early on to listen to our caregivers. If we don't listen to mom and dad, our teachers, follow the rules, we are in danger of losing love and not being taken care of. So we have this embedded people pleaser, but you have to start to stand up and not be there to please yourself. So that's number one, let the people pleaser go. The second part is create what I call a bill of rights. So what do you want to stand for? I want to stand for taking care of myself. I have a right to be heard. I have a right to take care of my body. I have a right to express myself. I have a right to feel my emotions. So I take people through a process where they can create their own bill of rights and really own what we talked about, the empowerment, but really have these bill of rights with other people. And then the last part of the rehab relationships is something called nonviolent communication, which is a process that was developed to help you communicate and get your needs met. So that's number 6. Then we finally get to number 7, and that is all about enlightenment. So that's really about creating a spiritual practice, connecting with your higher power, whether you call that God, spirit, consciousness. And I give people lots of techniques to do that, as well as a lot of it is about just owning the fact that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. You're already spiritual. We already have that intuitive divine connection. And it's really a matter of kind of pulling off these lampshades that are blocking our light and really owning how powerful and beautiful we are and how we really can shine our light and make a difference in the world. So that's the 7 steps. But again, anybody can pick up the book. You can start at any step you like. If you're struggling with your physicality, start with the energy chapter. Struggling with the self-love, step 2, working on that relationship, which again, great for Thanksgiving coming up. That's step 6. You can really start wherever you are. And I promise that you will find techniques that are really going to help you to rock your midlife.
I love that, especially the last part, the step 7, because as you see, when we try to connect to higher self, first we have to take care of ourselves and to see what is our needs, because sometimes we prioritize other people needs against us, and then what happened, then we lose ourselves. We forget about ourselves. Then but in your techniques, you have to go through these steps to know what you want exactly, what actually make you happy, right? And take different steps to look at your body and your emotional states to be at the point that you are happy and grateful for what you have. And then uh, as soon as you feel better, then you can make higher changes, better changes, right? As you see, for the 7 steps, you are going to find your life purpose,
Yes,
right?
and I think what gets really exciting too, I don't know if you found this yourself, but what happens is that you're constantly kind of walking through the author, author promotion show, we're authors, right? But you become the author of your actual existence. Like I feel like every day I just wake up and I know exactly what I need to do. And then the next day I do the next thing and the next thing. And I'm sort of in this trajectory that's pulling me forward in a beautiful way. And I think one of the things that I'm just loving about where I'm finding myself is that I'm growing through positive things, right? I always felt like the first half of my life was just like, divorce, and I went blind, and I got Hashimoto's disease, and I had depression, all of this really hard stuff. But now I'm learning and growing through like love and wisdom, through good, happy, fun things. I think there's a sense that we have to have all of these tough things happen to us for us to grow and glow. But I'm like all about growing through joy.
Beautiful. I can see your energy. You are very happy and you have a very positive energy. You really transfer it to me as well. So I feel great today
Well,
talking
thank
to
you.
you.
Well, I think that's one of my missions in life is for women to see. I'm almost 60. I turn 59 in a month, and I feel great. I have great energy. I do feel joyful. I'm kind of like reverse aging, like finding my childhood joy again, and it's really fun. It's fun to inspire people and help people to see that you can be joyful, that you can like connect with that inner child and rediscover that happy place again.
Exactly. You know what I realize? I have a lot of clients because I'm a fertility coach as well. So in mid 40s, they get pregnant. And that's exactly following those steps, because when you have a good diet and you have a good hormone balance and you have a great energy, why not? It even happened to you. You can get pregnant at that age. The point is, um, in any stages of your life, you have to update yourself. You have to upgrade to a higher level, and you have to sit with yourself and see what is your purpose. What are you happy today? What you can do to make yourself happier, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, every day too. And I think that's the thing about waking up and saying, today's going to be the best day of my life. Today's going to be a good day. I mean, I struggled with clinical depression. I was on antidepressants for years. And I have to work every day. People look at me and go, you had depression? Because I do seem so happy. But I have to work on it every day. I have to work on finding what brings me meaning and purpose and joy, and how I can connect with other people and help other people. And that's what's so exciting about the book, is that, as an author, you can share this. And you've had so many, authors on, but we can reach so many people through our books by, being in front of the media versus, I love working one-on-one with my clients, but I can only work with a handful. But we have this opportunity. And I think nothing lights me up more than sharing my truth with other women.
Yeah, it's so inspirational. Yes. Thank you so much, Ellen, for being here. I really enjoy talking to you. And hopefully I can see more and more success in your life as well.
Thank you. Well, thank you
Sure.
so much. And thank you for the very important work that you're doing. We need to talk a lot more about trauma, and maybe I will have you on a live down the road, or when I get my little podcast self together next year sometime, we'll have to do it
Wow,
again.
that's
You're having me
amazing.
on.
That's amazing. So congratulations for your podcast.
But not yet. It's not even in the word. It's in the back of my mind. I
Whenever
need
you
to
talk
go.
about something back of your mind, it means it's going to happen soon. So
Yeah.
yeah, you will get there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Please subscribe to Pantea Kalhor Transition channel to get the latest interviews, and order my book PTSD Compass through Amazon. How to confront PTSD and navigate trauma to triumph.